going on here. So I said to Tyler, when you accelerate, you're going to be able to sit back. Let me just rewind to see what happened when we did the launch control. Sit back. Yes guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video. In this video we've got the Audi RS3 launch edition here in Kalami Green, and we're going to be taking it out in quite wet conditions to find out whether this is the ultimate hot hatch. Let's get straight into the video. Okay, so starting off with the exterior, the RS3 looks absolutely naughty in this Kalami Green paintwork. I'm not sure whether it would suit any other model in Audi's range, but it definitely does suit the RS3. In terms of looks, you have these big boy 19-inch wheels over here, which are 265 wide at the front and 245 wide on the rear. Something to note as well is that you get these big boy calipers, which absolutely stop you. I've been selling this car quite savagely, and the 6-pots are doing an amazing job so far. Going round to the back, we've got LED matrix lights on the rear and obviously on the front, and they are darkened. With this being launch edition, you get quite a few naughty little cosmetic upgrades, such as the black bits over here on the bumper, the black bits on the mirror, and also on the side skirt. Just in here we have Audi's RS Sport exhaust, which absolutely sounds insane. Okay, so moving into the interior, the first thing that gets your attention is this, the virtual cockpit. And on an Audi, it's always banging year after year. I think they're one of the first to come up with it anyway. Moving to the left, you can see we've got the MMI screen, which is great. You can independently adjust the brightness. So if that's quite glaring at night, you can adjust that and have that one dim or bright. It's entirely up to you. Moving down here, we've got buttons, which is great. We haven't got nothing fancy or silly to play around with. Heated seat, both passenger and driver. Down here, we've got our drive select, which gives us quite a few options, and we'll touch on that on the drive. But we've got auto, dynamic for when you want to do some speeding, efficiency with, I think it drops the clutch and allows the car to cruise a lot more, and comfort. And then on the side you've got individual, performance, which is literally on track, and torque rear, which we'll hopefully get into and have some fun. In terms of seat, we've got the RS seats with the RS logo embossed over there. It is a black dynamic on microfiber, I believe, and it feels absolutely amazing. It's kind of creepy. Moving into the rear, even though I stand at around 5'11", you can see we've got loads of rear space here, and also we have this, and I love this. I'm not sure what Audi's term is for this, but having cup holders, I say it on every car that I receive, is a deal breaker for me. Because at the back, especially when you've got 2 kids and the wife, not that it's a problem, but when you've got 3 people in the car and they each want to have a drink from McDonald's or wherever you go to get your takeaway, come on, it's got to happen. So this is the RS3, meaning it's got a 2.5 litre 5-pot engine, putting out around 400 brake horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque. If that isn't enough on the road, I don't know what is. We've also got a dual clutch transmission here, so it's Audi's S-Tronic. The shifts are instantaneous. So in terms of hatchback, you want to make sure you get the best of both worlds, and that's both comfort and performance. And in terms of comfort, which we've got it in now, steering wheel, very light, still feels precise, doesn't feel sloppy or floppy or wallowy. Suspension is a tad bit on the firm side. It's not crashy by any means, and it is an adaptive suspension. So now if we decided to press the RS button, because I've set up individual to be very similar to dynamic, we get the cockpit changes slightly and the steering firms up quite a bit more. The suspension still isn't crashy, but what you get is a much better throttle response. I say you feel the torque, you definitely do. And that brings me on to why you get an RS3. So you get an RS3 namely because of the performance, and also because when the weather is like this, you can still give it some round bends and not think the rear end's going to step out on you, or in most cases you're going to get understeer. They've really nailed this car. And I've got to say, I don't know how Audi do it, but this gearbox, let's take it down to say second gear, and it just flies through the gear shifts. It's just instant. And I'm not sure whether this is just a DCT thing, but up and down through the gears, it doesn't try and protect the engine as well. I know there are a few cars where if you try and downshift, it won't downshift, and then when it does, it will go down too. This one, if I opt for it in a relatively smart rev range, it gives it to me. Give it to me. Now, if this being an Audi, gets quite a lot of stigma attached to it. Oh, it's an Audi, oh, it's for those boys that can only drive in a straight line. I've pushed this car quite a bit, and I'm yet to encounter understeer, and I'm not sure whether it's the 265s on the front, giving the front end a lot more grip than on the rear, allowing the rear to rotate, or whether they've just got a decent alignment on it. But those days of understeer, I believe, are gone. And if we really want to play, not that we can, because it should be only used on private roads, and hopefully we do meet Max, and Max gives us the permission, because Max owns a private bit of road. Those of you that want to do any sort of drag strips, make sure you hit him up. I'm going to leave his Instagram in the description as well. Max owns quite a lot of private land, so he'll be able to give you guys, like, whatever you want, drag strips, whatever you want. Just ring up Max, give him a message, give him a PayPal. I think he charges £2 for the day, and you can just go on this strip and just send it. What is going on here? Yeah, I've yet to encounter understeer, and that's not trying to be silly or anything, but I'm talking about turning in quite sharply and feeling the car wash away from you, because I know your inputs are meant to be smooth, but there are a few times when you do want to push it probably a lot harder than you should, and you encounter understeer. But here, we're turning here at second gear, we've pointed it in and I push it through, and you can see there, the rear end just wants to rotate. And we've got no issues whatsoever sending this car, thinking I'm either going to end up there, or that is going to end up here, and I'm going to end up there. Those days are gone. So with this being an RS3, and with it being notorious for launching, I thought I'd recruit the main man, the Forza champion, the Fortnite king, my son, Tyler. So Tyler, how do you do a launch control on the RS3?
So you push the RS mode.
Yep, and it's come up performance.
Then you put your left foot on the brake.
Yep.
Then you put your right foot on the accelerator. When you let go of the brake.
And then it just goes, yeah?
Yeah.
What's it going to be like, full send or little send?
Yeah, full send.
Full send, give me some. All right, so we're going to test that out. We're going to find private road, obviously, and we're going to full send it and see what we get. We've also got the V-Box Sport from Race Logic, so we're going to use this to test our 0 to 60 and our 0 to 30 times at the same time. So 30 into 60, and then obviously stop. We'll catch you guys in a second. So as Tyler said, full send. Sit back. Oh man, what time did we get, Ty? What time did we get 0 to 30?
We got 1.95.
1 point what?
1.95.
1.95, and what about the 60?
60 was 4.41.
4.41. Do you think we can beat that?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's wet, you know, it's like, it's all slippery and slidey. Let's pull over and find out what we got. So we went for round 2, and we believe, or Tyler believes anyway, that we have beaten the time. Tyler, what do we got?
We have 0 to 30 1.78 seconds. From 0 to 60, 4.10 seconds.
Lovely. So we beat the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you manage to do the test?
Yeah.
And what, did you pass the test or fail the test?
Pass.
You passed. So I said to Tyler, when you accelerate, you're going to be able to sit back. Let me just rewind to see what happened when you did the launch control. So in terms of sound, this is 2021 onwards. We know that OPF filters, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to sound absolutely amazing. And with, as you saw in the settings, it gives you the option to have a pronounced or a subdued. And I like it. I want it coming into the cabin because I'd rather buy a car and ideally not have to spend a penny, just clean it all the time. I don't mind that. And if I'm gonna get a hot hatch and I want something fun, I want to know or want to feel like I'm going fast at least. And with the engine sound that's pumped through the speakers, second gear, it's proper. It's doing what it's meant to do. I get that lovely howl from that 2.5 Audi RS sound, and it's epic. As mentioned, the 6 pots, something else, man. So here we go, let's build up the speed, building it up, 35, 40, 50, and then hard on the brakes. How? And this is in the wet. And this is what I've said, I purposely got this car knowing that we wouldn't have the best weather. Why? Because if a car can handle well in the wet, what could it do in the dry? So can this be the ultimate hot hatch? Starting off with the exterior, does it look cool? Yes, especially in this Kalami green paintwork. 100%. You've got the black bits on the mirrors on the side, and again you can opt for the carbon edition, which is a step up, and which is obviously the top trim level, and you get carbon mirrors, carbon bits on the rear, a few of those black bits turn carbon. It's up there, and there's no other hot hatch that could be 5 doors and come with this sort of aggression. In terms of interior, the space, the premium feel, it's here. You ask yourself, if I've got a hot hatch, what do I want it to look like on the inside? I want it to be spacious, that's for damn sure, considering that a hot hatch is meant to be able to ferry your friends around, as mentioned, and take yourself to work and take it out for a Sunday drive and absolutely send it. And it gets to 40 so quickly. As I mentioned, the boot size is huge for whatever you need, whether you want to put a pram in there, drop the little one off at nursery. It's a no-brainer. Engine sound, debatable. You can obviously fit an exhaust if you wanted to, but a car like this, the RS3, do you really want to break the warranty on a car like this? Probably not. It's an RS3. If something goes wrong, it's not going to cost you £200. And I'm not sure about now, but previously these were fetching quite a hefty number. I believe at one point these were going for about 80, 90 grand, and that was when they first come out. And now I believe people have, I don't know, stopped putting, I don't know, sugar in their rice and peas, so hopefully everybody's begun to see some sense. But this is the sort of car that I personally, for somebody who loves tinkering, I'd be happy to probably just throw in a set of upgraded pads if I was taking it out on track, and potentially change the wheels, because I'm not sure whether this makes sense, but 265 on the front and 245 will naturally want the car to oversteer, and I believe when you are pushing it on track, probably a square setup could be better. That's the only thing I think I'd want to modify on this car. It's insane. I believe it's the best hot hatch out here, and that's not because, I don't know, it looks cool, but it's because it can tick every single box without having to cheat. Looks, check. Interior, check. Sound, check. Drive, check. Efficiency, which is something we don't really look for when we are driving a hot hatch. 32 mpg on my commute to work, and that's me just leaving it in comfort. Bit of motorway, bit of dual carriageway, bit of inner city driving, and I'm at work 12 miles later. 32 mpg. And on a long cruise, it's not something that you kind of get to do a long cruise, but I assume we could probably get close to 40 without even trying. So guys, as you can probably tell, overall, I personally think this definitely is the ultimate hatchback. And those of you that are gonna differ, you're allowed, but please go out and drive it before you make such an absurd comment to say it's not. Take it from me, driven quite, I think, nearly every hot hatch there is available. I've got one coming in a few weeks, which might not be a hot hatch, but it's classed as a hatchback, so stay tuned for that. But this, overall, it gets 5 stars from me. It does it all. It's a bit filthy now, considering we just left Max's house. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. God bless.